Good morning and happy Purple Friday. Hope everyone had a good break. Today we're going to be discussing the reference management software Zotero. Zotero is a great resource for professors and students alike for storing and organizing your bibliographic information. Okay, because Zotero has the potential to be such a useful software on campus, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit more of an in-depth tutorial than we usually do. So this week I'm going to basically be talking about how we can organize and collect sources using Zotero and then insert those sources into our project with the bibliographic information. And next week we'll be talking about how we can sync our Zotero accounts, and that way we can access all of our sources across multiple devices. And we'll also discuss how we can create groups and share our sources with multiple people. So now the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and register if you'd like, and that'll come in handy when we start creating groups next week. And it's free really fast, just takes a minute or so. Once you're done with that, go ahead and click the Download Now button to get the software. It's a pretty small download. There are, technically, because of Windows and Mac, and because of Zotero for Firefox or Zotero Standalone, technically 4 different versions of Zotero that are updated right now. And they're all a little bit different, so I'm going to be using Zotero Standalone for Mac. So if you don't quite see on your screen what you see on my screen, that's okay. They should be relatively similar though. Zotero for Firefox is the original Zotero. It acts as an add-on for your browser. Zotero Standalone is its own software, but it still plugs into your browser. Keep in mind that if you do download Zotero for Firefox, you're going to have to download a plugin for LibreOffice. If you download Zotero Standalone, you're going to have to download a browser extension for whatever browser you prefer. And functionally, they're basically the same. If you use Firefox, I would suggest using Zotero for Firefox. If you prefer another browser, I would just suggest the Standalone. So once we go ahead and download that, go ahead and open up the software, and I'll show you how we can add sources here. Let's see. Okay, so say that I'm doing a project on digital filmmaking, and this source looks enticing. All I have to do is click on this document right up here, and it should be added to my Zotero now. Yep, there it is. And now if I ever need to access this document, I can just go ahead and click on it. Brings up a PDF for me. Additionally, we have all the bibliographic information here that I need. If I need to make any notes on this document, say that I want to note that page 237, for instance, has useful information on it, I can do that. Let's see what else I can do here. I can make tags on this document. So say that I want to make a tag that this is about movies for digital filmmaking. I can do that, and then I can search and up here for tags, and if I had multiple other sources right now, only those with the tag for movies would come up. Additionally, I can do similar things and add related articles so that if there are multiple sources that I want to kind of use together, I can connect those. Now, additionally, another way that we can add multiple sources at the same time is, let me refresh here. See how I'm on the page right now after the search for digital filmmaking. And I can click the folder right there, which was a folder instead of a document. And this brings me up with every single source on that page. And I can go ahead and click whichever ones I think kind of sound interesting to me. Let's go ahead and say that those 5 look like they'd be intriguing. I click OK, and it takes a second, but yep, there they all are now. And as you can see, whoops, let's go to info. As you can see, you've got all the bibliographic information there, so that's good. If I wanted to add a source in a little bit more of a hands-on format, I can do that by just clicking on this green plus here. And this is especially useful for stuff like artwork, for instance. So I can manually type in all the information that I need, and I could even add an attachment, like a link to a URL of the actual piece of art, for instance, or any other relevant attachments that I could have. So far it seems pretty useful. Just to burst your bubble a little bit, for instance, it doesn't work as well on all sources. If I was on CNN, not all articles seem to work as well. Let's see how this one is. Yeah, so as you can see, it didn't capture the author's name, didn't capture the date. You can manually enter those. So today is, what, the 14th? 15th. So you could go ahead and enter those if you like. And it's still useful for storing your sources, certainly. Now, another thing we can do, let's go ahead and go to the library site here. And we can add books. Now we can add books. It should work. We should be able to get our details if we click on the document here. Another way we can do it, though, just to show you how it's done, is we can copy paste this ISBN number down here. And you're going to go ahead and click on the Add Items by Identifier. It's a little wand with a plus. Paste that ISBN in. And there we go. We have the bibliographic information for the Fellowship of the Ring. All right. And those are just some of the ways that we can capture sources. Now let's go ahead and open up Word, and I'll show you how we can use that now. All right, so I've opened up a Word document here, and say that I was writing a paper, and I have a sentence here. Now, once again, because Zotero does have multiple forms right now, it might look a little bit different on your Word document. I think it's a Z on Microsoft Word for Windows, if I'm correct. On Macs, I think it's this little scroll up on top. So there's going to be a little scroll up there, and a little drop-down window that says Zotero, and you're going to go to Add Citation. All right, now it should pop up. And these are the different citation styles we could use. Here's Chicago. I'm going to go down to, let's do MLA. Click A, or click OK. And so here we have all of our different sources here. We can choose which, whatever we wanted to cite here. So let's go ahead and choose the digital parallax. It'll fill in for you, and then I'll cite it in MLA format. Go ahead and hit enter, and there you go. There's MLA format. Just to show how it's done again, let's go ahead and do one more citation here. So we go up to the scroll, Zotero, add citation. Now this time it does not require you to specify what style of citation you would like to do, because it should all be the same across one paper. Let's go ahead and we'll do, we'll cite this source this time. Okay, so there are two different sources that we have there. Now, let's say that we were finished with our paper. This will be a very short paper this time. We can go ahead and go back up to this scroll, choose Zotero, and choose Add Bibliography this time. And now what this is going to do, it's very cool, is it will take only the sources that we've used, not all the sources that we've collected, just the sources we've used in this paper, and we'll add them in bibliographic format, alphabetized. So once again, it's a very cool tool. It takes a lot of the work out of creating bibliography, but I would strongly suggest that you double check everything. Zotero is a tool. and it's only about as smart as the person wielding it, so it would be wise to go through and make sure that all of this information is accurate and in the right format still. For instance, some databases will have items that are all completely capitalized, like if a person's name, for instance, and if you were to capture that information and put it into the bibliography, it wouldn't necessarily know to switch that. So while this is a very cool tool, I would definitely suggest still looking over your work. Okay, well that's all for this week. Next week we will go ahead and talk about, like I said, different ways that we can sync our account so that we can access all of our sources across multiple devices. And we'll talk about ways that we can create groups so that we can share our sources with people, for instance, if we're on a group project. All right, have a good weekend. Thank you for listening. Bye.